was watching a Western earlier this week, and I think I saw you on television.
That Wyatt Earp.
No, good guess. It's Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh, Hick, I just was at South Dakota. We went and saw where he got killed.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It's like a $10 little tour you can do at the bar that he was at when he was shot. It's in town though. It's not over by where they have the giant like the buffalo chip or whatever. It's in town where the Iron Horse Saloon would be about 10 minutes away from there, I think it is. So it's kind
Okay.
of cool, little nostalgic piece of history that I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Well, welcome. I usually like to start with the fact of the day and a quote of the day. So today is a special day. I know you used to be in an Alice in Chains cover band. Right now, of course, the Four Horsemen is your lifeblood, but I
Yeah.
Want Blood by Jerry Cantrell is out today.
Hmm.
Um, hell fucking yes. Have you listened to any of Jerry's new stuff at all?
Not at all. I can't tell you the last time I started or tried to find new bands or new music by bands. And I've
Yeah.
been so busy with just trying to build this and make it a success that it just consumes me every day. So
Well,
no, I haven't heard anything that he's put out.
yeah, you were in Alice in Chains cover band though back when. What was the name of that band again, Sean?
It's called Them Bones.
Them Bones.
Yeah, so it was cool. I enjoyed it. I was at a party years before that, and somebody had some instruments in their basement, and they had somehow started playing songs, and the singer guy, he couldn't do anything. Like I, I just don't. It was like karaoke hour to me, you know. And I saw this guy trying to struggle through uh, a song, and I just said maybe I could, sing one of these. So I asked them what they knew. They said they knew Man in the Box at the time. So I just said, well, let's try it. And people went nuts. I was like, I can't believe I can actually sing that stuff. I never tried it in public before. So that years later, after this was after I think I got in the Alice in Chains band after I did my 3 albums with my original band Antithesis. Um, these guys wanted a singer, and I auditioned. Went down to. I was living in Cleveland at the time. I drove down to like Mogador or Akron area, auditioned, and I got the part, and it was cool. And we did for about I think maybe 3 years, and then I met my wife's brother. We opened for his band, and he's a phenomenal guitar player. Um, and so that turned into an opportunity to sing in his band. When they saw us open for him, he immediately was like, "Can't believe this guy," which is kind of cool. They were really, really good band. And a matter of fact, their drummer is my drummer now in the Horsemen. Just phenomenal musicians. They were all top notch guys.
Killer. That's
So
amazing.
that,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
the Alice in
Metallica.
Chains thing kind of led me to meet the guy that would be my drummer. Who knows how many years after that guy? I don't even remember. That was like early 2000s.
Damn, it's a long time. Long time. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, Metallica has always been my bread and butter, even though I don't eat butter. But Alice in Chains are my number two. And here we fucking go, man. I mean, the quote of the day is it's episode 109 for me, Sean Perry of the Four Horsemen. And I'm gonna quote myself. I actually scribbled this quote down recently. I thought of it. Immortality is what you create.
Hmm.
So what
Musically.
right? It's what
Yeah.
you leave behind. And what with Jerry Cantrell's I Want Blood and what you're doing with the Four Horsemen, which is a celebration of Metallica now for the past 18 years, it pumps me up because my inaugural kind of rock and roll show slash fundraiser is coming up on November the 15th, Friday at Town Ballroom in Buffalo. We got the Four Horsemen, and we have BSG, my friends coming in from Syracuse. But with
Right.
you guys, I just want to say thank you for coming to Buffalo. Metal in Buffalo is always a good thing. 18 years is a long time. What are you most thankful for with the past 18 years, huh?
It's the most thing I could say is the people who actually want to come out and see a band that's not Metallica. Um, you it's hard. It's not the rock style life that people think it is. I sit in front of this computer probably 10 to 12 hours a day trying to find contacts, reaching out to venues, reaching out to promoters, dealing with contracts, dealing with people who owe me money, uh, trying to negotiate things for, hotels and food, and finding out what kind of PA systems these people don't have and what do I need to make sure that the fans enjoy the show. The biggest part of this is this and driving a van. That's my rock star life. People say, "Oh man, it must be great to be on them stages." I'm like, yeah, it is for about 90 minutes, 100 minutes. And then there's 14 hours of driving in a van. So I've said this in other interviews I've done as well. It's like, I'm a professional van driver, is what I am. But I'm grateful that I get to be on stage, play someone else's music, and people actually want to see me do that. Um, it's been a hard life. I could be doing IT, which is what I did before this band, and I made a lot of money doing it. And I sat on my ass and didn't have to drive anywhere. And most of it was remote work from my desk. But passion is the thing that I was missing in my life. Was like, I didn't have any real passion. I like making money, pay the bills, but I didn't have any passion at the end of the day. I felt like my life wasn't really meaning anything. And my dad was always a drummer, a singer, and I always looked up to him. So anything I ever did musically, I wanted to make him proud of me. So when I got into this band, it was just more of like something to do on the weekends, maybe once a month. And we did that for like 2 years before I actually even started thinking, gosh, people like this. Maybe we could build it a little bit. Um, so the most thing I'm grateful for is after 18 years of all the trials and sacrifices and things that I've had to go through, and hard decisions, friends I've lost because of band decisions, and my father dying when I was 12 hours away, getting ready to play a show, is that I still have people that want to come out and see this tribute band, and I'm grateful for that. That's the blessing in all of this, is that people still. I get older, you know, and the crowds get bigger. It's crazy. So that's my big point, is that I'm very very grateful for the fans, and they deserve the best, and that's why I
Abs-
do. I have top notch players in the band. People call me an asshole because I don't have my buddies in the band anymore. It's like, well, the fans deserve this because they pay money, but more importantly, they pay with their time. They'll never get that time back, and I am not going to disappoint people and say this is a half-ass show, but thanks for paying. Fuck that. You get the best out of me every fucking show. That's what my dad would want, and that's just who I am.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tribute to your dad just to really bring it to the audience, but you're very detail oriented. This is album tightness in the Four Horsemen that you've brought to us for all these years, and it's going to be coming to Buffalo November the 15th. I mean, what is what's one word that comes to mind when you think of the almighty Metallica, who, just like the Four Horsemen, Lars says we're just getting fucking started. You guys are growing. They're I can't believe they're going to continue to grow after M72. And you got that pretty cool picture back there behind you of Cliff and the boys from '86. That's awesome.
Notice that, yeah. I got that from the actual photographer who took that picture. He came out to a show last year and he took a picture of us in those robes in that same exact pose. And that was really cool. It was a really cool experience. Mark Weiss was the guy who took that picture.
Yeah,
Really
Weiss
nice
got it.
guy.
He's got a
Yeah.
cool book too.
Yeah. I have the book. And he signed it, and they're really nice guy. I bought it. I didn't ask for it for free or anything, but yeah, really cool guy, cool stories. Loves the band. He came out to photograph. It was Indian Ranch out in Massachusetts, I think it is, and we headlined a big tribute fest thing. And so he wanted to take pictures, and he had his fiance or wife come out and help, and really, really cool experience, because I'm like, he took that fucking picture. It's like, wow, the stories that guy could tell you. So it was really cool. But yeah, I see you've got your own little uh, Metallica picture behind you as well, which is very cool because that was like the lineup that I was introduced to Metallica with, was with Jason, and that pissed off James fight the world type of aggression. So when you ask me like what's one word, game changer. They were the game changer of metal. They're the guys who crossed over boundaries that you could not cross. Like dude, metal was underground, dude. Like I grew up when those guys were tearing apart the mold. The mold was broken. They didn't give a shit. They they were the band that would say whatever the fuck they were gonna say, and you were gonna deal with it because when they got on stage, they crushed you. So like, the big funny thing about Metallica was back when we were kids, what everybody laughed about it was that they said, "Oh yeah, we saw a bunch of hookers on the corner, but actually it was Motley Crue." And I'm like, oh, we just died laughing because I'm like, this band does not give two shits, and I love it because that was like that's how the '80s were for us as kids. You didn't have social services, you didn't have PC police. You said whatever the fuck you were gonna say, and people just dealt with it, or you were swinging, and that was Metallica. They just come out swinging. So I loved it. It was a game changer. It really was.
Yeah, damn right. Game changer indeed. The greatest American band, greatest band of all time. Yes, me. Come on. I mean, there's the
40
Beatles,
years,
Led Zeppelin.
like 41 years, and
Yeah,
they tour by themselves. No support is needed. No one gives a shit, and they do whatever the hell they want to do. 4 decades of doing whatever the hell they want to do.
so true.
No other band can say they have that longevity. So I will agree with you that even the Rolling Stones didn't have what Metallica has created in the way they've created it. So yeah, very unique band, very unique. I don't think you'll ever see another one like it.
You got introduced to Metallica, you said on the Black album back here. Uh,
Well,
do you,
it was Master of Puppets,
oh, it's
but
Puppets.
not the year Master of Puppets came out in '86. I got introduced to Metallica while they were doing the Seattle shows, but I didn't even know that those shows existed for years after that because I had just got into it. It's kind of like the same way I got into AC/DC. I heard somebody playing Hell's Bells on a boombox, and I had to go to that record store and buy the Back in Black album, and it blew my fucking mind. Same thing happened to me. My brother's older friend had a giant boombox, biggest boombox I'd ever seen. He'd walk down the street with that thing on his shoulder, blasting into his own ear. And I heard Sanitarium. That's how I found Metallica. I ran down, I was in the attic at my mom's house, ran downstairs. We weren't allowed off the porch. It was a weird time. And she, said, "You better not get off the porch or you're grounded." So I'm hanging on to the railing and I'm screaming at this dude to stop. Just come over here. I want to hear this. He's walking down the street. Finally looks over at me. He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "What is that?" He's like, "It's fucking Metallica." And I'm like, "What the fuck is Metallica? I'm 12." I used to tell this story live right before we would play Sanitarium. And I asked him, I'm like, "Dude, I got a high speed dub cassette recorder. Can I borrow your cassette?" And he's like, "Fuck you, get your own." Hit the play button and just kept going down the street. It's like, I don't know the name of the song. I don't know the name of the album. All I know is we're going to the fucking record store and I'm going to the F section because I got to look up who the fuck is fucking Metallica. Literally. And that's how I tell the joke on stages. I had to go to the F section, look up fucking Metallica.
Yeah,
Used
I
to get a
love
big
that.
laugh out of it, but that's how I was introduced. Back in the day, the radio wasn't playing fucking Metallica. It was underground stuff. You had a friend who had a friend who copied somebody else's cassette or the record player, and you had this shitty version of some Metallica songs on a cassette, and then you gave it to your buddy and he recorded that. So each time it got recorded on tape, it got worse and worse. The quality of the tape got worse, or it sounded like everything was underwater. That's what we did because they weren't playing it on, like, our big radio station was WMMS up in Cleveland where I was born. They never played Metallica. Never. Now they got like Metallica Night, where the whole fucking night is Metallica stuff. And the guy says like curse words on the radio. I'm like, They never cursed on the radio when I was a kid. So the game changer fucking broke every mold, every rule, just annihilated what people thought the norms were going to be for the rest of time. It's like, no, we do what we want. We're fucking Metallica. So that's what it was, you know? It's crazy.
It's funny
So
you
I'm
bring up Welcome
blessed.
Home in a Sanitarium
Yeah.
because that is the song that, I mean, can you think about it? These 21, 22-year-old drunk kids, right? You know, moon is full, never seems to change, just labeled mentally deranged, you know, and just the power of the lyrics that James was writing. What a gift he had back then, just as just blurry vodka in a system, whatever, and then have the ability to come out and just bring it to the people.
Well,
Um,
it's, you know, he had a hard childhood, lost his mom because they believed in God and God didn't save her. So they didn't do any kind of medical, you know, she died. James had a lot of demons and I'm not very different. I mean, uh, even just last night, I was dealing with some bad demons in myself, you know, who I am as a person, why I do the things I do. Nobody's perfect, but in that imperfection, you sometimes you can convey a message to people who are hurting. You know, your suffering helps other people cope, and the evil that you have to struggle through sometimes can be somebody's light, even though it makes no fucking sense. I've had moms and dads email me. I've had moms and dads bring their kids to me at the show and saying, he won't come out of his shell for anybody, but he stared at you the whole night and he just wants to talk to you. Would you talk to my son? Because he's just always depressed. I said, absolutely. So was I. I hated my life as a kid, fucking hated my life, ran away at 14. Never thought I would be in the position I'm in today and never thought I would be any kind of role model because I still don't think I'm a role model. I'm not a good one, but your pain can sometimes help other people. And so I used to tell some of the things that I lived through on stage, but I've lately just told myself people go to escape that stuff. They don't want to hear about what they have to live through. They want to just enjoy the moment of hearing songs that we all grew up on or have touched us in a certain way. So, like when you say, you know, James bringing it to the people is like, I think James was opening up to the people about things that he had to deal with, and he did it through song. And he was a master, still is a master storyteller with words because you look at his interviews. He's even said you can derive multiple meanings from one of my songs, multiple. It's not one set thing. And that's the beauty of being able to relate to people with your songs is I could take Sanitarium and say, well, yeah, it's about depression, suicide, and the dark things that go in the crevices of our mind. Someone else could take those lyrics and say, I don't think that. I think it's like someone struggling for freedom. Well, it's both. Everybody's right. And that's the thing that James was really good at is he knows that he can convey things that are going to appeal to the masses. I think that's the gift that he has, you know. It's magic and the way that they did it with the aggressive style of playing the music, everything just fit like a Mona Lisa to me. You know, it makes perfect sense. I wish I could be that kind of storyteller.
Well, that's what you do up there on stage every night when you go out there, and the people pay to come see that and to get away from their own personal lives and sometimes get away from the ruminating thoughts that go in their mind.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I'm no stranger to that as well. I'm also a big supporter of American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And, you know, this event coming up November the 15th is going to be benefiting AFSP. Uh, and James, for him to mention the word suicide and to let people know that they're not alone. That's 70,000 people that in a stadium this past tour that he's talking to. And for all the years to go on YouTube that people are going to be watching that, for him to put that out there, and it's just it's really an amazing thing. But I appreciate you sharing that piece as well, Sean.
No
Yeah.
problem at all. You know, it's just part of your life, you know. Everything that I do is just part of who I am. And when I get up on stage, It's not really all about money for me. It's more about therapy. Uh, it's very therapeutic for me. I see myself in some of the people out in that audience. I've talked to guys that barely could afford the ticket to get into our show, and I look at them and I say, that was me. That's why I only ever saw Metallica one time. I saw AC/DC once when I was a kid. I could count on one hand how many concerts, actual live nationally touring bands that I've ever seen. It was like three. So I was that guy. I couldn't afford to go to the shows. I was very poor growing up, and I couldn't even afford to buy the cassettes. Um, it took me a long time to buy Metallica cassettes, but boy, that was gold when I got them, and I wore them out. So I mean, I'm glad to that we're doing this collaboration with you and in the organization that you're supporting. We also support. We're partnered with Wounded Warrior Project for the veterans. My whole family's military. My brother and I were the first ones that didn't have to be military, and my dad did not want us to be. I tried it. I collapsed my lung when I was 20, almost died, so the military wouldn't take me. I was a liability, is what they told me. But I tried to sign up. Just wanted to do my part. So I was like, well, if I can't do my part now as a man, I thought I could still say something more than just thank you. Let's try and help these guys. So my wife actually got everything set up that we could partner with the Wounded Warriors Project with this band, with the Four Horsemen. So we have like a cash donation box at the shows. We have a QR code. People can donate by credit card. They can go to our Facebook, and there's a link there somewhere as well. And I don't, like what I tell people is, with their help, we've donated thousands of dollars to help the wounded warriors that active duty combat service who've been injured physically and mentally. Because I do believe the PTSD is real. I don't think you even have to be in the military to suffer from it. Um, I think a lot of us are dealing with our own health. So to help people like you're doing, and like what the Wounded Warrior and many other organizations like both of these are doing, it's a great thing, and I'm proud to be part of it. Small part. Um, but it makes it a little more meaningful when I've had veterans come up crying to me after shows, and you just hug them. What can you do? It hurts me. It really does hurt me, to see the pain. We dedicate the song one, to all those who run towards trouble while we run away from. I always stop the show. You'll hear it November 15th in town ballroom. I always stop the show when we're about to do that song. And I tell people, this is what we do. This is why we do this. And for 18 years, I always dedicate to those who sacrifice. This song goes out to them. So it's more than just going out there and getting some beer money or paying a bill. To me, it's therapy for all of us. Music is one of the most powerful things that you can do for someone, is convey a feeling, an emotion, some type of idea that they can relate to, no matter all the bullshit that they have to deal with during the week. That's what I love about doing this band. And that's why I'm so grateful that people want to see a band that's not Metallica, play Metallica, and then talk to me about their lives. Sometimes most of it is just thank you for the show, and here's my kid, and he's never been to a Metallica concert until tonight, and I love it. I love it. The kids, they're the future of everything, especially music to me. And I always just get a kick out of seeing these 3 and 4 year old little kids coming up, and they got our shirt on. It just warms your heart to see that kind of devotion to it. Some cover band, basically is what people call it. Yeah, you're just a cover band. You don't even know how to write your own music. It's like, well, I did. I wrote 3 albums. It didn't work. But I still love to entertain people. I still think people need some joy in their lives. And that's what I'm grateful about as well. So I get to give people some joy for just a little bit of time, and then we're gone. But it makes a lasting impression. I get emails almost every week from people just saying, thank you so much. It meant so much to me. I had 2 weeks ago, I think it was. We played out in Virginia Beach. Had a veteran come up to me, already had tears in his eyes, and he is doing the kind of work you're doing with suicide prevention for veterans. And he's like, is there somehow we could, maybe do something with you in the future? And I said, absolutely. Just tell me what you're doing, and we can make a show happen. We'll do that. So that stuff means a lot to me. That's, I think, what gets me out of bed in the morning.
I think your late father, Oliver, would be so proud. Your tribute to what it is that you're doing. You're creating these memories. You're also, it's a tribute before one to the USA and the Wounded Warrior program. Our team in real estate um, has partnered up with them for an event or two in the past. But it's nice to give back.
Yeah.
We have Sean Perry of the Four Horsemen here of Akron, Ohio, and just continuing on what you were talking about. Last year in 2023 was the first year that the suicides crossed 50,000 losses in one calendar year. So then it just became the 10th most leading cause of death in the
Yeah.
US. So getting it out about there, a song like Fade to Black, or just creating those memories. You're going out there on stage, you're giving something people can look forward to, and I think that just fucking kicks ass because
Yeah, I don't want to make everything seem so somber. I mean, it's a beautiful night. Every show, there's so much laughter and smiles, and just like you said, it's creating that memory, and that lives on in people throughout the week. It gets people through their day, and yeah, I'm proud of it. I am. It helps me get through the day sometimes. To just There's this picture I have on my Facebook that pops up every year. This little girl, and it just happened not too long, maybe a year or two ago. Um, we were in Cincinnati playing an outdoor show in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, and this little girl, I don't know, my wife found her. She has a knack for finding these little kids and gets them up on the side of the stage. She's got our shirt on, but she's 3 years old, and our shirt is a dress. It goes down to her feet. It was just so cute. And I saw that little girl at the side. So I looked over and I saw her with my wife, and I said, "Come here." Like right after we got done with a song, I saw her. I said, "Come over here." And she come like a penguin because that shirt was like restricting her legs because it was too long. It was adorable. And she comes over, and I asked her name, and I gave her my pick. And I said, "You want to play?" And she hit and I had a power chord going, right? And so I was ready for it. And I hit it. She hits the strings, big, and the audience just blew up. Everybody laughed. I said, "Look at this little girl. She's 3 years old, Metallica fan." Place went nuts. And somebody snapped a picture when I was kneeling down and she was about to strum the guitar or whatever. I think she was looking at her dad pointing. I think I said, "Yeah, where's your mom or your dad?" And she pointed, and somebody took a picture right then. And I got that. And it pops up here and there for whatever reason. People comment on it, whatever. And I just think to myself, you know, in that moment, that space and time, you couldn't tell her we weren't Metallica. You couldn't tell her that it could get any better than what it was for her. She was on cloud nine. Her dad was on cloud nine. And I helped to make that memory something she'll never forget, or at least her parents won't, and man, that's fucking special. To me, it make my heart sink because I never had the opportunity. I wasn't fortunate enough to have children. But in those instances, it's almost like being a substitute dad or something. And just in that couple of seconds, I just feel that pride. I'm like, man, if that was my kid, oh wow. So I went to Metallica in 1991, Richfield Coliseum. They were on the Black Album tour, no opener, just a fucking video of them horsing around, and then they walk out on stage and they crush. I was behind them. We had the shittiest seats you could have. Uh, if they're facing towards you, I was behind and up at an angle. So, like, here's the stage facing this way. I'm up over here behind them. They didn't care. I didn't care. It was the best concert I've ever been to. It reinforced why I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to take after my dad. after he got home from Vietnam, and he just wanted to play in a band, and it was just a cover band. They never wrote anything and whatnot. But while I was at that show, it it occurred to me, it's like Metallica will never even know I was here, but they touched me so powerfully that night. And they can't know. There's too many people that have my story. You were probably one of them. I've seen some of your video. You had some very nice seats or standing room. Um,
Thanks, man.
but it's like you probably have that same story. It's like they probably never even know I'm here. Or maybe they did see you, but I always thought about that. It's like, if I ever get this opportunity, I'm going to make sure people know that I know they're there. I'm going to look everybody in the eye that I can and try to connect with them. So I'm a very shy guy. You wouldn't know that if you saw us in the band because I can't be. I cannot be me. People need me to be that entertainer guy. But when we're at the shows and I look, I'm scanning through the crowd. Where's the youngest kid I can find? Any of the kids I can find. And I'll wave at them or I'll throw a pick at them or something. I want them to know that they are noticed. I see you and I will acknowledge you. And sometimes I even get your dad, put him on the shoulders. Hey, everybody, look at that kid. There's a 5-year-old Metallica fan. Like, man, that's so fucking cool. I wish I was that kid in that moment just to feel that. So I love doing that for people. I want people to know you're the most important part of my show. It ain't the band. The band doesn't get to do this unless you're here. You're the most important part of any show any band could ever do. I don't care if it's Metallica or Led Zeppelin, Megadeth, Aerosmith, AC/DC. Those bands are only big because of the people. And that's why I give people everything I fucking got every show, the highest quality of what I can give them.
Yeah, it's the highest quality. It's so badass. I mean, I saw you guys Rapids Theater, Niagara Falls just a few years ago, and it's tight. It's 1980s kind of look to the Metallica. You could kind of take them out from that Seattle 89, put them up on stage in front of you, and you listen, and it's so tight. But at the same time, you talk about connecting with the people, us, the fans that have paid money to come, and you still have that wherewithal to single those kids out and stuff. There's a looseness, is what I'm saying, when the Four Horsemen hit the stage. And I think showmanship is number one with any live band is really
I agree.
caring, right? Caring about it and making the people watching you feel like, wow, these guys really give a shit about what it is that they're doing. And that's something that I could tell with the Four Horsemen. And that's why I was so, giddy when I found out that this could be something for November the 15th. So
Yeah, I think it's going to do well for what you're trying to do and benefit. And I think, there's going to be a lot of people there. I owe them actually Town Ballroom. We played there last year and I was sick as a dog. Couldn't even speak on the way to the show. I was so sick. And it was like, well, I wasn't sick anymore. What I had done was I sang some shows the week prior sick and I damaged my vocals. Like it was bad. Like I just saw a post at Town Ballroom that somebody canceled a show like the day of because the guy lost his voice. And I'm like, shit, that ain't no reason to cancel a show, bro. Because you should have heard me when we were loading in that night. So it was bad. We don't get drunk on stage. And I'm very adamant about the show needs to be top notch for the people. Like I'm an asshole. If I see something's wrong or people are starting to noodle off and do things, which has happened here and there, I take them aside and say, it's not your right. You didn't write it. It's not your right to change it. We play it like the album. And that's the way I pay you to play it like the album. And I expect you to do what I pay you to do. Not in a sense that I'm trying to come down on, but it's like, look, let's not water this down. These people need this. I need it. And we're going to do it the right way. So that night, I had to do something I didn't want to do. I took probably 3 full shots of Jameson right before we went on. And that shit will make you loopy when you're only 5'10" and maybe a buck 48 soaking wet, right? And that's me. Um, I had to be very careful, but I was like, I can't sing anything. Nothing's coming out. It was, that's what I sounded like. 15 minutes before starting to go on stage. And I knew from years ago, I didn't want to do this, but years ago, I had the same problem. I had strep throat and I had a show to sing and hurt myself. And I had a show the next night. I drank Kahlua and vodka on the way to the show. By the time I got to sound check, I could talk and I got through sound check. By the time the show had happened, I was sipping it like coffee all day. I was fucking loopy, but I got through the show. I could sing again. So I was like, I got to do that, but I can't do it to the level I did it back then. So I hit 3 shots like 15 minutes before we went on, got on stage, and I told the crowd, like we did Disposable, I think was we started off with Disposable. And after we got through the song, I told the crowd, I said, look, I hurt myself. You're gonna have to help me sing tonight. And I'm like, this isn't how the show's supposed to go, but I need your help, right? So we did it, and I promised them, I said, I will come back and we will do this the right way. So your show, November 15th, is this is my keeping my promise and coming back and doing it proper, because so far I'm not sick and I hope that I can come back and do it the right way. So, well, we got less than a month to go
Yeah.
before that show happens. So it'll
Yeah.
be this is my revenge, my
It's your
revenge show.
redemption. Yeah, this is your revenge show. But we'll have the 3 quart bourbon ready just in case, Sean. Just in case.
Hopefully won't need, I think I'll try some Advil this time.
All right. Yeah, a little more
Something like
safe
that.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is just a nerd question for me. Like you're the James Hetfield in the Four Horsemen. You
Yeah.
sing and you play rhythm guitar, and you got some leads in there too. Is there a trickiest part of a song that you like when you're approaching it, when you're playing, it's like, oh, let's see what happens here, and then just you go for it?
Battery. Uh the verse lines when you're singing uh the verses, not the bridge, not the chorus, the verses. Listen to that song and just try to get the picking. You know, just try and get your one hand to do something and talk. Just try and talk. It is so, it's like playing Megadeth. Some of the stuff that I have had to learn with Metallica has been um, just so tedious and so like I want to throw my hands up in the air and I can't fucking do this. So yeah, tricky parts. It's like most of the songs are tricky parts here and there. Like I'm right now, we're supposed to do the entire Black album on November 27th in Sony Hall in New York City. Never been there. We hyped it up as a Black album in its entirety. I right now at this point, I'll tell you this truthfully, Struggle Within is the last song that I have to learn on the Black album. I've avoided that song for years, just like I avoided Damage Inc. for years, because it's fucking hard. And people are, Black album stuff's easy. Fine. Show me how to play that. Show me that you can play that song. Show me that you can sing the chorus lines of Holier Than Thou and play the riff right. Um, Show me that you can sing Nothing Else Matters. I mean, that's the easy one, right? Show me that you can sing it like the album, because I bet you can't. Not you. I'm just people who say it's easy, right? You know this shit's not easy. I mean, you follow Metallica shit. You how many concerts have you been to, right?
Yeah, 55
You've been
times.
55 shows. You know this shit. You know it like the back of your hand. It
Yep.
ain't easy. If you want to play it right, it ain't easy. You want to play it wrong? Sure, slop through it. Go right ahead. But you're not playing it the way they wrote it. And people ask me all the time, like, what's the hardest thing that you play? And I'm like, fuck, which one of them's not hard? Where do I get a break? I'll tell you where I get a break. The song that they didn't write, Blitzkrieg. That song, I could sing that song 100 times a day because it's just easy to sing. It ain't all that easy to play, but it's not real hard to play. But you have to, there's accents, all these little accents going on while he's singing the verse. Let us have peace, let us have life, let us escape the cruel night. Well, it's constantly going back and forth. Well, you can get that mixed up real easy. So it's like, yeah, the vocally, if you ask me what's the easiest Metallica song to sing, I say none of them. Blitzkrieg. It's a cover. I think it's Budgie or Diamond Head. Can't remember.
I think the
But
band's called Blitzkrieg itself, actually.
Is it? Is it?
Blitzkrieg, but yeah.
Okay. Shows how much I know. You know probably tons more than I do about the history of these things. I just try to play them. Um, but yeah, it's like none of them. James sang his he's saying his pain out of his fucking body. He's expressing all of the anguish and things that he had to endure as a person through these songs, and you can't just lollygag your ass through it and like, Enter Sandman, that's easy. No, it's not. Not if you do it the right way. Listen to the album. Try to enunciate. Try to pronounce. Try to get the grit and the pain in those lyrics. The fucking shit is hard to do, and I do not sound like James Hetfield. I get it all the time. Oh man, you sound like Dave Mustaine. Yes, I can sing Lane Staley and Dave Mustaine like nobody's business. But when it comes to Metallica and that guttural, he's got like mountains inside of his lungs type of sound. I don't have that. What I do, I think better than just about anybody, is I study his lyrics and say, how is he enunciating? What is he doing with his voice at this point of like, is it soft? Is it crushing hard? Is he screaming, breaking up the note? Um, what's the inflections of his voice? Because I know I don't have his timbre. I have yet to hear anybody that really sounds like James Hetfield. I don't have his timbre, but what I can do is sing it the way he sang it, right? So that's where I try to bring in the authenticity of the album and that emotion is how did he sing it? Not do I sound exactly like him? No, I don't sound exactly. If I did, I'd probably be a lot more popular, but I don't sound like the dude. I just tried to embrace how he was sounding, not the timbre so much, just how were the dynamics of it. So that's fucking hard, man. I don't know the trickiest thing because I could tell you Damage Inc. is incredibly hard for me to sing and play. And I have to count throughout the entire song while I'm trying to sing too, counting in my head how many times did I do this riff. I got to, because it's like down, down, and I have to think about that. Okay, and moving the hand and singing the words, but not just singing the words. How did he sing the words? What was the timbre? What was the dynamic? Was he screaming it? Was he singing? All that shit, So fuck it all and fucking no regrets, right? I go fucking all and fucking no regrets. And it's like, ah shit, okay, but don't fuck up this part. There's so much going on. And then during that solo, it's like I'm counting for dear life. Maybe my drummer's like, dude, you gotta count it a different way. Because the way I count is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, while I'm doing the riff, right? If you watch my mouth, which I won't show my mouth when we're singing that song because I'm just headbanging. So people don't watch me going, the fuck is he doing with his mouth? Like, I'm trying to hold on for dear life. I'm trying to hold on, right? Because you know how fast that fucking song is. And it's like, holy shit. Easy? Bullshit. Easy. How about insane? Insanely hard to do. That's Metallica. Fucking insane.
That's really interesting. I love to hear your standpoint on the James Hetfield singing and the inflections and that kind of thing. And you bring up Battery, and you also brought up that clip that I took in Minnesota at M72 Minneapolis, which I'm still, you know,
Cloud nine, right?
yeah,
Cloud fucking
I
nine.
couldn't, it was out of it. Yeah, I was out of a dream, just being that close and that intimate because he left the stage. You talk about, you're performing, you're up on stage, you're bringing it to the people. He is definitely, when he's down there off stage, it's just tea and just chilling and quiet. He left
He
the
gets
stage
he
at
gets to be
Cthulhu.
himself for a little bit when he's off that stage. When he gets on that stage, he's everything everybody needs him to be. That's
Yes,
what I do too.
you're giving me the chills because that is exactly 55 times into seeing Metallica. That's something I've never seen before. Where
It's
literally he
impressive.
goes up on the top stair, or when he's coming back down after Cthulhu, he's just like wow, and he just goes and he sits down and he's chilling. I was like, holy shit, I just saw that. And then comes back and plays what you just mentioned, Battery. He was putting his guitar on, and what he did, and you would not see this, and if you were not me down there in his den, is he
Yeah.
gave the stage two middle fingers, and he's just like this, and he goes up there, and then spotlight, and then battery. So,
I
uh,
think that is James saying, all right, get back into what these people need. When I get off stage, I can breathe for a little bit, take that breather, calm down. You get back on that stage, you better not be that. You get on stage and you rip their souls out and show them what it's all about in a good way, right? And you give it back. You give it back. The energy, oh God, the energy is insane. Even I love the sit down crowds, I do, but the stand up crowds that get up to the front and they're just lunging at you with everything they got. And it's like, this is real, man. You got to give it back to them. You can't fake this. They deserve it. They need it. You need it. We all, it's fucking symbiosis, right? Like the whole thing has to make sense. You can't have half of a fucking ball and bounce that ball. You got to have the whole fucking ball. If you got half a ball, you don't have a ball. It don't work. So for me, everything has to connect. It has to click. It has to work together. And we feed off that energy. The louder, the more rowdy. It's crazy, dude. I've done 4 shows in a row, and you've seen our set. They're not easy songs, and there's screaming, and there's guttural vocals, and even James doesn't sing the way he used to sing anymore. I do it. 4 shows in a row, and we didn't know if we could do that or not, especially me with the vocals. I was like, we could play it. We could probably get through it. I might have to change some songs out and whatnot for some less screaming stuff in the first couple of days so that I could get through the next couple of days. But if the 4th day we were in the underground in Webster, Connecticut, I think it is, or Massachusetts, I don't know. The Webster, it's a theater. It's called Webster Underground. That was our 4th day in a row last summer. We did like 100 shows that year. And we were fucking tired. We have no crew, nobody. It's the 4 guys, maybe my wife sometimes, and she doesn't carry, she can't carry the heavy. So we're loading in. Well, I'm driving every fucking day, right? So picture this for a second. I'm driving hours and hours and hours. We load in ourselves. We set up our shit. We sound check our stuff. We go down and sit for a couple hours. We come up and do the show. It's sweltering. It's in the middle of the summer. That's day one. Then we got to go greet the fans. We don't charge for that. We just go over and do it because they deserve it. And after that, we break that stuff down. We pack it into the van. I drive an hour to a hotel, rinse and repeat day 2, sweating, blisters. My feet hurt. My back hurts. I'm tired. Day 3, rinse and repeat. Fucking feeling it now. Throat's starting to get really sore, right? Day 4, Webster Underground. And the guys are like, how are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. We'll find out when I get on stage. And I'm talking like a frog, like, oh, we get up on that stage, and it's this small club, maybe holds like 350 people. It's a box, and it's hot. It's hot when we were loading in, right? I'm like, fuck, man, they need some AC in here. They don't have it. By the time that place it's butts to nuts packed. And I walk up out of the dressing room, and it just, that heat just hit you. Fuck, how am I going to do this? I don't have the energy. This is the 4th fucking day in a row without a break, driving, loading in, loading out, greeting the fans, trying to sell merch because it's just us 4. And I'm trying to sift my way through the crowd with my guitar. Hey man, what's going on? Yeah, people want to, hey, let's get a picture. I got to get on stage. Like, now I got to get on stage. I'll do it afterwards, right? I get up on that fucking stage. All 4 of us just looked over, hit the fucking intro. Let's go. And that's my James moment where it's just like, fuck all this. I don't care how I feel. I don't care how they feel. We came to throw this shit down, and they deserve it. And we fucking ripped. It was the best of the 4 shows we did. At the end of the night, fucking by the 3rd song, all of us got our shirts off. We were dripping, and I'm not taking my shirt off to impress no chick, right? I'm dripping fucking sweat. I can barely breathe. I'm like, fuck me, dude. This is a sweat box. And it was the best fucking show we did. We all, at the end of the night, were like, how you feel? And I said, if we had to, I'd do it again tomorrow. Why? How? Because of that fucking crowd, man. That half of the ball just coming together. right when that intro hit and people just, the drinks went up in the air, the fucking horns went up in the air. And I'm like, let's fucking do this. I don't care. It's how you feel is irrelevant. It's what you're about to do that matters. So it's that whole mind over matter. I don't mind, you don't matter. It's
Yeah,
just how
I
I
haven't
look at
heard
it.
that one before. But yeah, it's communal between the fans and the band, and that's what Damage Inc. is all about. It's what Battery is all about. Really, it's
Oh, it's like two fucking Mack trucks playing a game of chicken, and neither one of them scared. And you just collide. And when that happens, it's fucking magic, man. It's just
it
like
is.
nothing in the world matters right now except
Mhm.
this. And we're gonna fucking do it. I love
Can
it.
I
I love it.
can I ask you a question? How old are you?
I'm 49,
You're
born
49.
February 25th, 1975. I will be 50 come a couple more months.
Wow, coming up. 49. And Metallica and those guys, they're born in 1962, 63. So they're what, 61, 62.
James is almost 12 years older than me.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, like one of his longtime friends, Brian Wheat from Tesla, the bass player, co-founder of Tesla, is one of my very good friends now. Managing our band, and he for a good better part of 7 months he was managing, and he was just become a really good friend of mine. And he went out to Soldier Field and hung out with Metallica for like I don't know 5 days, which was really cool, and he's their age. And I look at him and I'm like, he's still going, and no indication that they're going to slow down. And, I asked him, what's in store for Tesla? He said, we're going to keep going until Jeff says he's done. When Jeff's done, band's done. He goes, I will not bring another singer into Tesla. And I'm like, so when do you think that's going to happen? He goes, I don't know. We're just going to keep going. And it's awesome, So Metallica and Tesla and those guys, they're all around the same age, but it's like they're just going to keep going until they feel like this isn't what brings them joy anymore. I think, like or therapy anymore. James has cried on stage. He's whole band hugged him what last year before. I can't remember. He was out on stage and he was talking to the crowd. And he's just like, I didn't know if I could just keep going. And the band came together and hugged him. And I'm like, dude, this shit's real. That's not oh look at me. I'm a 100 millionaire guy. My life is so hard. No, it's just he grew up hard. He's lived hard. He's had hard problems. I think he's divorced now. You know, he had to go through some shit. He's got kids. What did that do to him? What did that do to the kids? We don't hear about that. Nobody wants to hear about that stuff. It's like, well, that dude's still got things he has to deal with in life, and not all of it's fun. And it doesn't matter that you make this kind of money or that kind of money. You know what matters? What's going on in here? That's the thing. All walks of life, like you were saying with the suicide, it's climbing this fucking ladder that we don't want to see it climb, taking over other death, and saying, it's fucking top 10 now. I couldn't have told you that. I know like heart disease, right? Heart disease is like the big one. That's part of what killed my dad, heart disease and diabetes, but suicide, it's fucking real. And I can tell you this just by guessing. I bet you that's gone through James's head multiple times. And the only reason I can tell you that is because it's gone through my head and the shit that I've had to deal with in my own life. So it's like therapy for me is music. Therapy is good conversation. Like I'm having a good conversation with you right now. I enjoy it. I do. Um, I don't make enough time for it. Like even today, our Zoom got put behind because of me. I'm a bad time management guy, but I do enjoy it. I like to listen to other people's stories. I like to tell my own story because some people somewhere they relate to you. You know, like I hear you 55 Metallica's concert. Like, I can't even comprehend that. It's amazing to me. And then I saw your video. I'm like, not just 55, up fucking front where people are never going to get that kind of view, that kind of experience. Like, holy shit, this guy could tell me stories,
Yeah.
and you're a young pup. But that's awesome because it's that transcendence of generations. That's why Metallica's biggest fucking band in the world. You'll never see it again. I guarantee you that. Taylor Swift, here and gone. She'll be here and gone. She's just a cookie cutter, like Britney Spears was, like the other chick, Miley Cyrus. They're just cookie cutter corporate shit. And I'm not trying to dig at them. She's very successful. She's very successful. And, as long as she's got her looks, she'll do that. James and the guys, they never used their body to be successful. They didn't put on little Daisy Duke shorts and, skimpy tops and shit like these girls do with these. I don't think that you should use your body to be successful as a musician. You should use your brain and your passion. So that's just my take on it.
Sometimes your neck, which you got a good headbang. See, how's your neck doing these days? Is that all right? Uh, spine.
I go to the chiropractor every other week. I can tell you that. Every other week, clockwork, Monday morning, 10 a.m. I'm at the chiropractor. I have to. I'm an old man. Some would say ornery, cynical, whatever it is, but I have a job to do, and I'm not about to get on stage and act my age. I don't know how to act my age, even if you paid me. I'm an asshole. I'm rough around the edges. I say what's on my mind. I don't give a shit about PC. Um, I'm just a dick, but that's what I grew up in. I grew up in that time where that's just how you were. You're just a dick, and people need to have thick skin to be around dicks. So, um, my neck, that's part of the show. My neck doesn't get a day off. These, me and the drummer, we're old school guys, right? He's about my age. He don't look it. He looks really good for his age. But the boys, we call them the boys because the guitar player and the bass player are 21 years younger than me. They could be my kid. Be like me, LeBron and his kid playing on the same team. They make me headbang harder because they got so much energy, right? And I'm not trying to take credit for this, but they were never really in a real band before this band. I found them during COVID. I had to replace people who left, and I brought them over to the house. They sent me audition videos first, so I could see that they could actually play because I'm a dick. It has to be right. And they impressed me. So I said, yeah, come on out to the house. They live 3 hours away from me, mind you, in Pennsylvania. I live in Akron. And they came out every week during that lockdown shit. Every Saturday, at some point during the afternoon, come down, take shoes off, come into my house, go down the basement, and we're going to play like we're in front of 10,000 people. And you don't get to sit down and play these songs. You're going to play them the way I play them. So I showed them, you headbang, you circle bang in this part or whatever the hell you want to do, but you don't get to sit down. You don't have your thumb up your ass. Actually, it's kind of funny. My bass player that I have now is the guy who auditioned, but I let him go after the audition. I was like, I think we had him out like 2 or 3 times, and he didn't know. He thought it was Harvester of Faith, and I was like, dude, you don't even know the names of these songs. You're not a Metallica fan. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna work. And he was just kind of standing there, and he'd sit and he'd kind of bump on the log. And the other guy, my guitar player, he's whipping his head around and he's running around in his socks in my basement. My basement was decked out. A really nice house I used to live in, and he was doing it right. And the bass player wasn't. And I was like, I know he's your buddy and all. And he goes, dude, I just told him there's an opportunity here. It's up to him if he wants it or not. And I said, he's just not having it. So we just went on with the guitar player for months. And then we brought him back because we wanted to get the guitar player on stage to get his feet wet for real, because the world was starting to open up in May of 2021. Shows were coming back. You had to sit down, you had to socially distance, all that bullshit that we now know is a waste of time. But we brought the bass player back, and I said, you want to just make some money? We want to get his feet wet. We want to get him on some stages and see what he can do. Well, during that time, the bass player opened up and he was really funny. And I said, dude, you know the songs, you did the work. You got a headbang. And he just laid into it. First fucking show, he gave it everything he got. And I was like, these guys are headbanging more than I better fucking keep up. So the show has actually evolved because they're on it. I expected it and they delivered more than I thought they were going to do. So now it's like I have to keep up with them. So yeah, the neck, I try to keep the neck muscles primed for the shows, but yeah, it fucking hurts after the show. You've seen it. I mean, it's constant. There isn't one song where I just sit there with my thumb up my ass. The crowd deserves a show. And that's why I'd say, there's so many tributes out there, Kevin, that I just think no one should clap for you. No one should even come to your show. You're boring to watch. You play the whatever you're tributing, it's sloppy. I'm an asshole. I wouldn't spend my time. I can always remake the $20 I got, I paid to get in, but I'll never get that time back. So the time's more important to me. I'd rather go whack off than see some of these bands. It's like what a waste. So I am that asshole. Excuse me. I'm the asshole. I will call out bands. I've done it before. And, a lot of the Metallica tributes, they hate me, which is funny because I'm like, well, show me better. You want to hate me? Get on stage and show me better because then I'll come to your show and I'll put it down. But, Brian Wheat told me to my face, he said, I've never seen any tribute play like you play. He goes, you are the baddest motherfuckers I have ever seen. He goes, I love your band. And I'm like, holy shit. This guy's good friends with James, Lars, and Kirk since he was in his 20s and telling me that, holy shit, you're the best next thing to Metallica. Now, have we had fans say that? Sure. We've had some fans, oh, you guys are better than Metallica. No, we're not. They fucking wrote it. We just play it. We hold on for dear life. They fucking created it. We'll never be better than Metallica. Never. I don't give a shit how they play right now. They've earned the right to play the way they fucking play. If you want to go see it, go see it because it's fucking spectacular. You can attest to that. But to have somebody in that industry, when I grew up, the first solo I ever fucking learned was Love Song, Tesla. That fucking solo in the middle was the first solo. And I got to tell Frank that because now they come, Brian will call me up and say, hey, what are you doing? What shows you got this week? I'm like, oh, I only got one. Fly out to the show. Come on out. Let's hang out. Let's go do something. Let's go shoot guns. Let's go get some. He likes this Brazilian, like it's like almost like a buffet, but they bring all the food to the table. I forget what kind of restaurant it's called. It's fucking awesome food. But he likes to do that shit. And he's like, dude, let's go. I'm like, all right. You want to go see a movie? Let's go. I'm like, dude, you're in fucking Vegas. Yeah, come on out, fly out. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I love Tesla, but I don't, fanboy, but it's like, holy shit, this guy's in the trenches. He's one of the guys that I idolized as a kid, right? And he's telling me I'm a bad motherfucker as a musician. I'm like, wow, pinch yourself, I don't act like a fanboy when I'm around him. He's just a good dude. And I'll tell you this, the whole band, Tesla, fucking awesome people. You'd love to meet them. They're great, great people. Just like you or I, there's no fucking egos. Jeff Keith, singer, every time I see him, what's up, dude? And he comes over and he gives me a hug. He's just awesome. Their drummer, Steve Brown, is the same. Like, he's a trip. Dave Rude is a huge Metallica fan. Their rhythm guitar player, Dave, he met Kirk when he was 18. I know we're a little off topic, but I'll tell you this real quick. He went to Kirk's house. There was a party going on, and he knocked on the door and just kind of walked in. And he found Kirk, and he's like, no, I'm really not supposed to be here or anything. But Kirk was like super fucking cool to him, just really nice guy. And I was like, dude, those kind of stories really make me like the band even more because he could have been like, who the hell are you? Why are you in my house? Get out. But he didn't treat him that way. He treated him very well. And Dave is a super fucking Metallica fan. So when he heard what we were doing, he went and saw some videos. We did some studio work with Brian at his studio and did some snippets of songs. I did some full songs too. I won't release, but he got to hear that stuff. Brian showed it to him. And the next time I saw Dave after that, he was like, oh my God, dude, you are fucking awesome. I love it. You guys sound just like Metallica when they were pissed off. I'm like, damn, dude, this is cool. These people, I mean, there's people in the industry who know who we are and they think we're fucking incredible. And I'm like, I'm so blessed, man. Who the fuck am I? I'm just somebody who loves Metallica like anybody else. And yet I've got guys like Morgan Rose from Seven Dust. came up to me. He came to one of our shows, and right after my dad died, it was April 19th, I think, of this year. My dad died on the 4th of April. I had to go down to Georgia. There's a place called Mad Life Stage Studio, a small place, maybe holds 300 people. Really nice place, though. We like to play there because it's one of the places that gave us a shot when nobody else in Georgia would. So we go back there. There's some places I just keep in rotation anyway. That's one of them. Morgan was there. I didn't know it. I don't know a lot of these celebrity types, right? I didn't keep track of all the bands, who the members are, and all that shit. I just like, I like AC/DC, I like Metallica, I like Megadeth, and that's my shit. And then I found Pantera after that. And so it's like I have a handful of bands that I like, right? So I don't really care. I know the members of those bands. But Morgan's sitting right in front of my lead guitar player the entire show at a table, small club. And we get done, and I'm still mourning the loss of my father. But I was like, I have a job to do. And these people did not pay money months ago to see me crying over my dad. They paid money to see a show, and they're going to get a show. So I did what I do, right? I get over to the merch booth afterwards. I start setting it up. And Morgan walks over. Now, I don't know who this dude is. He's got dreads. He's got a really hot chick with him, And he comes over to me and he was just praising us. He's like, dude, I have never seen a band do that. He goes, I've seen national touring acts, real bands, who couldn't hold a candle to what you just did on stage. And I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming out to the show. And I went back to setting up my stuff. Owner of the fucking place comes running over to me, not even 20 seconds after he just wanted to say that, and he left. And she goes, you know who that is? And I'm like, no, I don't know who it is. She goes, that's Morgan Rose, drummer of Seven Dust. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Real cool. I'll tell you right now, I know maybe one song by Seven Dust. I'm not a fan as in the sense that I follow the band, but as musicians, yeah, they're fucking awesome. That drummer's incredible, incredible drummer. And for him to come over and say what he said to me, it meant a lot. But I wasn't ready, dude. I was still like, my dad's dead. That's all I could keep thinking. I was like, I got to set up this merch and I don't even want to be here. But I have to put on that mask. I got to be that person for these people. Um, but when he said that, my drummer's big Seven Dust fan. He come out and he's like, "What the fuck? Morgan Rose is here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what she said. He's over there." And then Morgan came over and he wanted to talk to him because he's like, "Oh my God, you're incredible." And my drummer's like, "Morgan Rose thinks I'm great." He was like cloud nine in it, right? And I was like, "That's cool, dude. I'm really happy for you because it's things like that that it kind of reinforces what you do when people give you that respect and they don't call, like, the real musicians are not calling me a leech. It's just some of the people out there that you run into that say, you're nothing but a leech. You're successful off somebody else's coattails. You're playing other people's music. And I always try to say, I'm like, it's funny that you say that. I'm playing other people's music, right? Because I'm playing other people's music. Metallica recorded Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg on their first album in 1983, released it, and they make money on that since 1983. Every second of every hour of every day on every streaming platform, someone is playing Blitzkrieg or Am I Evil right now, probably in 50 different areas of the world. And they're getting paid for that. And they're not on stage playing it. I said, the only fucking time I get paid is when I'm on stage. We don't sell Metallica songs. We just play them. So I try to tell these people, why don't you just enjoy that someone's entertaining instead of having a miserable life and trying to bring other people down to your depression or your negativity or whatever it is? Because I understand that. I am that. I'm a I won't say I'm a manic depressive, but I'm depressed every week. I have bad thoughts every week. I have demons just underneath the skin every day. I understand it. And I try to just tell them, look, just enjoy life before it's over. Because we don't ever know when this end is going to come. It's just a roller coaster. We got our ups, we got our downs, all of us, you, myself, Metallica, anybody that actually takes breath has their ups and downs. So it's like, you can sit there and feel sorry for yourself, or you can sit there and try and bring other people down, or you can try and help, or at least do no harm. So sometimes I'm good at helping. Sometimes I'm good at just keep my mouth shut because I can't say anything good right now. So just shut up, right? We all got to do that. But at the same time, when you're on that stage, you got to help. And I think the way we help is just give them everything you fucking got and let them give you that energy back. And we all have a good laugh afterwards and a hug and a fist bump or, a picture, autograph, whatever it may be. And I love it. But I'm so grateful that the real musicians out there that have made a career out of this in the real stage, writing it, creating it, they respect us. It's really cool. It's really cool
Yeah.
because we shouldn't be here. We shouldn't. We're just a tribute.
Well, that right there is it's why you do it, to feel good and to bring it to the people. But when your peers or people that you look up to, like Brian Wheaton Tesla, gives you those kinds of words, man, I'll say right now, Kevin, a twin brother of Ryan in Buffalo, New York here, that when I saw you guys in Niagara Falls, it was like a fucking lightning bolt went through your body, and gave it back to us. And you gave such a shit. People were like standing back, and then it happens, and people are getting closer and closer,
Yeah.
and then it got moving. But yeah, when you feel blue, when you feel down, to tell yourself that you've received those kinds of things because of your hard fucking work, I think is so important. Me, I'm no stranger to those bad thoughts every week, good days, bad days, just like the rest of them. But I think, oh, but I hugged James Hetfield backstage at the Big Four in Indio in California, and our whole entire conversation was taped. And I'm
Wow.
gonna send that to you, brother. I had hair
That's
down my
incredible.
shoulders, and it was pale white, first time in the Southern California desert. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's
amazing.
incredible, dude. That's something that people give their right arm to do. I've never met them.
Never.
Doubt I ever will. I don't try to pull favors from Brian or anybody. I know several people who know Metallica personally. I've never asked them to reach out to them and tell them about our band. Hey man, can I get a sit down with James? I don't ask for that favor. I said the only thing that I'm blessed is that Metallica hasn't sent me a cease and desist. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
See,
blessed to.
there you go.
I
There you
get,
go. That is their nod. Fucking
that's
keep doing
right.
what you're doing, right?
Hey man, I didn't write this stuff. And if they
Yeah.
got word of us and they looked at our band and said, you know what, they're playing it a little too good. Let's stop that shit. They could easily just say, you're done. But they don't. They don't bother me. I definitely don't try to bother them. I don't dog them. People are asking me left and right, what do you think of this, and that? And oh, this guy's a better drummer than Lars. Like, shut up. Don't talk to me about it. They changed my life as a kid. I could show you drawings when I was suicidal, when I was a kid. I drew fade to black. I drew pictures of myself getting stabbed, shot, hung, hit by a car. I drew all this stuff because I hated my life. And there's fade to black lyrics all over that paper. I still have that fucking paper. And people are like, you didn't really done. Yeah, actually, I put the headphones on and I put fade to black on repeat because life just, I didn't need it anymore. I thought, when I was like 11, 12, 13 years old, when I started to discover these harder bands like Metallica, I think I was like 12. But when I heard that song, I was like, that's me. That's my life. I want it to be done. So when you tie all this back into that band, I'm not going to dog them. They fucking saved my life and they don't even know it. Music got me through the darkest days I had ever had as a kid. Music got me through. It was AC/DC and Metallica, a little bit of Scorpions back then. I didn't know about Megadeth back then, but that music was my escape of a shit life that I hated. You know, it was the 80s, so things weren't great behind closed doors. But I had that music. That was the one thing that kept me going was listening to Metallica and that passion just in the old thoughts. I mean, shit. Sometimes I start crying on stage, thinking about my dad with some of these lyrics, right? And it's like, I got to stop. I got a job to do. I collapsed the night that I found out he died. I had a sold out show in Massachusetts. My drummer, when we were at breakfast, I got the call from my brother and he said, Sean, dad's gone. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's gone. Where'd he go? He's dead. And I just sat there in the color. My drummer was sitting across from me. And he said, oh God, no. And I got off the phone and he said, "What happened?" I said, "My dad's dead." And he goes, "Do we need to go home?" And I sat there for about maybe a good minute or two, just sitting there with just, how the fuck? How is he gone? I just talked to him. I just fucking talked to him the other day. And I looked Drew in the eye and I said, he'd be fucking pissed if I canceled this show. Very pissed. I said, because I tried to cancel a show. Same exact circumstances happened. My dad was in the hospital in Florida. I'm in Connecticut, loading into a show. I get a call that he's got 800 blood sugar. He was diabetic and blockage in two arteries, over 80%. He's going to die. He also had pneumonia at the same time, so they couldn't operate to get the stents in because it was going to kill him. But he was also going to die because his sugar was 800. So he was going to go into a coma and he wasn't going to wake up. They got him in an emergency room and they're contemplating, do we cut this guy open? What are we going to do? My brother called me, dude, dad's in the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I call, he picked up the phone. I don't know how the fuck, and that he was even coherent with 800 blood sugar. If you know anything about diabetes, he should have been out cold dead. And I said, Dad, I'm coming. And he said, no, you're not. I'm going to be all right. You play that fucking show. Those people need you. I'm in the best hands. There's nothing you can do for me. I'm going to make it. And boy, that was the hardest fucking show I ever played because I didn't know if he was going to make it the whole night. And I don't think I was as energetic as I should have been in that show. And I did apologize to the crowd during some point in the night. I apologized. I said, I just got word that my dad might not make it tonight and he's in Florida and here I am in Connecticut. But I played the show. He got through it, thank God. We went down, picked him up. I flew down and drove him back because he had his dog and all that stuff, right? So I remember those words when I'm sitting with Drew, and now there's nothing you can do. He's gone, right? And I told Drew, I said, no, we're gonna play the show. My dad's in no rush and he's in no pain anymore. And I don't think he would be happy with me to bail on all these people that need this. We're gonna play the show because I think that's what he would want me to do. So we played the show. Some point in the middle of the show, I told people what happened. I just told the crowd. I don't know. It might have been before one because I usually stop the show around then. And I said, but my dad would want me to be here. He lived to see me doing this on stage for people. He would come to every show. He paid for his ticket. My wife would get him on the side of the stage at some of the shows when she'd find him out in the crowd somewhere and she'd, come on, you're coming with me up on the stage. And I'd look over and all of a sudden I see my dad smiling and just ear to ear grinning. And he was just so fucking proud of what we were doing, what we were building, what we were creating. And he was flipping out when he found out that Brian Wheat was my friend. He's like, man, Tesla, that's the first song that you ever tried to play a solo. And I'm like, yeah. And the dude's my friend. He was just beaming about this band. And he was the big reason why I pushed so damn hard. I wanted him to be proud of me as a musician. So that night, at the end of the show, we played Fade to Black. And those lyrics were hitting me, buddy. Everything in that song about, now I'll just say goodbye. When I sang that line, I looked over to the side of the stage and I told myself I never got to say goodbye. And we didn't have great words the last time we spoke. I was a little angry at some things he was doing. And I'll never forget that. I didn't get to say goodbye. And thank God I said I loved him, even though I was upset with him. Us Perrys, we learn things the hard way. I'll just leave it at that. But he was a good guy. He was not perfect. Neither was I. And I should have been better to him the last time I talked to him. So it really hurts me still to this day that I didn't get to say goodbye. And when I sang those fucking lyrics, dude, the tears just started flowing. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to. And I turned around and I faced my drummer. I just put my head down. And I was doing this. I don't do that. That's not headbanging at a show. But I was bawling trying to play the rhythm while the solo was going, the outro solo was going. And I just kept thinking to myself, shit, I harmonized this solo with him and I don't think I can finish this fucking song because I was just bawling, thinking, I never got to say goodbye. I never got to say goodbye. I'll never see him again. I'll never hold him. I'll never hug him. All these things are going through my head. And it's actually starting to make my eyes burn. I got to stop. But I knew, I was like, I got a job to do. I have to do this. And I went out to the front and I harmonized the ending part of that solo with Luke. And we got done with the song. I fucking collapsed on the stage and just started bawling. Dude, the place went silent. Usually people are cheering, drinking. A fucking place, you could hear a pin drop. And it was like eerie, right? And then all of a sudden, people started clapping and calling out my name. And your dad would be proud of you, man. All this stuff's coming out. And I'm like, holy shit, man, what am I doing? This is not what you do. These people don't want to see this shit. I got up, I ran to the green room, and Luke, Alec, and Drew are all like, dude, just stay in here. We'll go try and do the merch. And I was like, dude, you guys don't even know how to do the payment. I have to go. I have to go out there. No, you stay in here. Said, damn it, I'm going out there and I'm going to greet people. They deserve it. They're probably lined up at the fucking table. I get out there, fucking line. And people are patting me on the back as I'm walking, our thoughts are with you and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I should not have done it. I should not have done that. I should not have fucking told anybody what was going on. But I did. And the response, dude, was insane. That line was so fucking long and people waited like fucking hour to just say, I'm so sorry. You guys came and you brought it. And I can't believe how hard that must have been for you to find out this morning that your dad died and to do what we just saw on stage. Incredible. And I just said, what's incredible is that you people are here trying to help me get through something when I should be thanking you for coming to the show. Because without this show, without you coming, this show never happens, right? We play that place every year, a couple times a year sometimes. And it was just, wow. It was like that moment James had on stage with the band hugging him, whatever the hell demon you're going through, it's like people care. People care. There are people out there that you can talk to. There are strangers even that just fucking care. And that ties back into that whole, I start thinking about that top 10 death is suicide now. It's like, there's people out there that care, man. And every one of us has gone through some kind of fucking struggle where we just thought, I don't think I can do this anymore. But you're still here. And you're here trying to help those people. It's almost the same way I'm trying. It's just give something, do something, whatever it is you're going to do, and feel good about that at the end of the day because you're a good person to carry that torch for suicide prevention. And like I said, I'm glad to be a part of it. I think we're going to have a great show on November 15th, Town Ballroom. Yes, it's a plug. We've both been doing it here and there, but we're going to bring it to the people. It's going to be Black and Back. You're getting 5 albums of the most brutal Metallica songs I can possibly play for you. And we're going to play it like the album because you deserve that. So is there anything else you need to ask me?
No, no.
I go on tangents, man.
I think right there, that's it, man. Really appreciate it. Boom. And yeah, November the 15th, exactly what Sean Perry said. Man, I look forward to meet you in person. I look forward to seeing the Four Horsemen again, which is a hyphen, a celebration of Metallica. Well, apparently it's a goddamn celebration of life, and that's going to be fun. We got the band BSG coming out, and if we could help one person who has watched the past hour and a half of this I Asked No One episode, hey, that's amazing. So let's see each other on November the 15th and have a good time. Love
Definitely
you,
will.
man. Thanks a lot.
Definitely will. Look forward to seeing you guys and you as well, Kevin. Thanks for having me out.
Thank you for your time, sir. Have a good night.
You too.